Okay, welcome back. Welcome back, everybody, to the Crescent City Cup. We are about ready to start round 11. We have Will Anderson and Dave Koenig. I believe Dave is in first at this point in the tournament, but it's only at 8-2, so an awful lot of players are still in contention. We're at the halfway point of the tournament, and with me commentating is Jesse Day.
How do you do, folks?
And we'll be starting this one. Looking forward to an excellent game here.
And Will was just on the stream in the first round of the day and played a really sublime game with Austin Shin. That was just about as good as Scrabble gets. Really competitive, down to the wire, top class. So looking forward to some more top class action from this encounter.
Oh yeah, for sure. When you're talking about players at this level, you're going to see, them react to all sorts of different situations in ways that really have a possibility of impressing you. So hopefully we'll see some of those situations here in this game.
Yeah, it's great. Really, just I don't often get to be a commentator, but I feel like even just the games that I've broadcast so far, I've learned a lot from. Just every game brings its own set of puzzles, and hopefully we get some exciting ones this time.
Okay, so Will's so far taken about a minute on his clock. He's got a slew of midpoint consonants. I guess vowel would be one possibility that jumps right out. I don't know if he has a 5-letter word here that makes sense. And Will does go with the standard play there for 18.
Interesting. I probably would have played Vamp there myself.
Keeping DOW? Yeah.
DOW is not much to write home about, but Vow is more hookable. I think my sense is it would be a toss-up.
That would seem close. I mean, Will at least does keep the A for a vowel in this case, if that comes to play, although Dave looks like he might be using that himself. Dave's lined up G-Bag, one of the more fun 6s you can play, and I think it's Collins only. You can hook a vowel with it, or you can start it with Go and EW and play that way. Looks like he's going
to
open it up.
Quick move there. 22 points. I would have been tempted to cover the vowel hook myself there. This is quite open.
Yeah, I noticed the underlap possibility with under the A and the G to the triple word score may be a concern as well. Yeah, I might have been tempted to do G-Bag and a vowel, but then it's early in the game, and for some reason maybe Dave would be looking for more of that kind of board shape. I'm not sure.
I mean, one thing you can think about it, you can just look at the options that Will had before that play and after, and right now Will has like multiple 30 to 40 point plays. You can play Dimp and Add and GI. You can play Damp over the top of a Go, Mu, and PE for this close to 40. And
yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, after something like I don't even know what he would have played, but something like Bag and a Vow, just Will would have really had pretty limited options. That's why we're kind of articulating the case for something more defensive.
Yeah, I mean, even G-Bag and a Vow probably wouldn't give back quite as much as this placement of it does, or at least at first glance it seems that way.
Very good point.
So yeah, it seems like Dimp would be the standard play here, just covering that one hot spot. But I don't know. Like you said, there's a few different options here that Will could consider.
Well, Dimp is a solid 40 spot, and also covers the hot spot. But then again, that spot on top of G-Bag is probably even more of a hot spot. But he did go for Dimp.
Will does retain the F for that spot. I mean, it's pretty unlikely Dave won't use it unless he's got a different sort of play, which looks like he might have here because he's got a bingo lined up.
Right.
So Will should get to use that spot, but he'll be down a little bit when he does.
Yeah, I actually, while I don't know for certain if I would have done exactly what Will did these first two moves. He is playing pretty thematically and deliberately. He's thinking each turn, not just about the score, but setting himself up. And I would call that a hallmark of Will's game. He plays in a very reasoned, kind of thoughtful fashion. And a lot of he has sort of a reputation, rightfully so, as someone with really superb word knowledge who bingos a lot. But I actually think that strategically he's very deliberate, and he's unlikely to make a move without some thought of what the next move is likely to be.
Voting for the next round, it'll be round 12, is now up. So you can take a look at the options that are available. Let's see, what do we have this time? Looks like we've got the Dave Wiegand and Dave Koenig, the Battle of the Daves, Robert Lynn and Ben Schoenbrunn, or Chris Leip and Bradley Whitmarsh. So get your votes in now. All right. So Dave's still considering, I guess, which bingo to play at this point.
Rumor has it he might have a 9.
Let's see, it would be through AD, GI, W.
I'm not sure. It could be a red herring. Kate could be lying to us. All right. And he's chosen unclear, not going with Avow. Displacement is 71. I think this is a good decision from Dave. I think the reason he's chosen this placement is to block the E, or the triple letter score on top of the E, where he could get stung with his cheap ZE play. So I suspect that's what he has in mind there.
And he's gone with nuclear instead, it looks like.
Sure.
Seems like that's about the same either way. But yeah, I agree with you. I think especially with the introduction of ZE, that becomes much more of a concern.
Right. I mean, the funny thing about that is that he played G-Bag in a way that opened that spot in the first place, right? But I still think it's a good idea.
I wonder if part of his thinking was that, Will is an extremely strong player, and did he want things to come down more to, who gets the Z or something like, to create the possibility for a happy accident, something like that. I mean, it's something that, Dave's a strong player himself. Don't get me wrong, but I think that would be maybe part of the thinking against a strong player is that you want a little bit to create situations where just dumb luck can help you.
Yeah, I think that's totally valid. I think recognizing when the time is to be aggressive and set up spots is, I think having that sense is very important. I don't think the beginning of the game is the time unless you're really, unless you're just convinced that you're an underdog, which I suspect Dave does not feel.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. I think it's maybe more of a general principle than something that applied in that particular position.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing to be thinking about. It's all about controlling our volatility in all facets of life.
Very true. All right, so Will's got a duplicate A, duplicate O, an F. So I guess he's probably looking to resolve at least one, if not both of those rack issues at this point.
I'm sure he wishes that Oaf would go down somewhere, but Ada.
Yeah, I was looking there too.
Not going to do it.
So maybe
the chat suggested Foo. Foo making GIF and
MO and PO.
Mo and Po. By the way, the 9-letter word we alluded to before, just real quick, would have been neuralgic.
Oh, nice. Through G. Yes, it's true.
Yeah, that would have been not even necessarily the best option, but certainly very stylish. And it looks like Will did choose Foo, and it's a good score. It's not as perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it does leave the 2 A's, but, that's not the end of the world necessarily. And it also restricts things over there a little bit, So I would think that maybe, if Will needs another turn to mature his rack, at least he'll slow Dave down a little bit by taking out, I guess, M and P lanes. Although, the board is open enough that may not be a prime consideration at this point.
Well, every bit helps. Everything, you can keep it in perspective, right? If that's the only lane on the board, then if the P is the only lane on the board, then blocking makes a huge difference. If there are a lot of lanes, then less important. So it's like a small incremental, maybe step in the right direction. Although the game's totally tied. So I think this might just be one of those cases of points because points.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any other spot that's quite as lucrative on this board, so you might as well, when in doubt, to take some points and hope that things turn around with the next draw. All right, so Dave's got, looks like, well, he would have figurant doesn't fit, unfortunately, through the N in nuclear.
Our viewers are coming up with some very imaginative phonies from this rack, but
I like fruit gap. Yeah, you don't want to have a fruit gap.
I can't imagine what that would be, and I shudder to think about it too hard.
Yeah. Use your imagination, people, or don't. Yeah.
It's right. There should be a liability for him to join this stream. Maybe AUF here, ALF and Eval. GIRT is not too much to write home about.
True. Or maybe something like Fugu and nuclear. I mean, that's AIRT is good, but it doesn't score so little. Yeah, that's would kind of would make me hesitate about that.
Interesting. So he's going for kind of a high scoring option here, which I think is actually kind of Dave's style in general. It's sort of the scoring never stops approach popularized by Austin Shin. I think that's very reasonable. It's 33 points.
Yeah, I mean, GU is pretty rough, but I think it's probably enough points to justify it.
Right. Right, it's hard to say that GIRT after ALF would have been all that much better. I mean, probably it is somewhat better, but
maybe not worth the point sacrifice.
Right.
Okay, so Will's got... So it's like it's close to a bingo rack, but he's got duplicate A's and duplicate N's.
So Frannon would go down if that were
if the F were in the right spot, yeah. So, sure, Dave's glad he didn't play Fugu then.
One thing that Will could do here, and my hunch is he will do it. He could play a Crescent through the C as a 36-point non-bingo double. And I think that's strong because both blanks are unseen, 3 more S's are unseen, and I think that's gonna be the move. And indeed, that is what he's going for. It's just too many more points than any fish.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think there's a lot of like those near bingo racks that if you have a double, it's often worth breaking up the bingo potential to take the points.
Right.
Especially like you say, with there's a lot of good stuff in the bag that you could get at as well.
And it can be hard, especially like as a newer player. It can be hard to be pragmatic, right? It's like you're close to bingo, you're saying, going to bingo, no matter what, and I'm going to keep fishing until I get my bingo. It's good to keep your options open.
So Dave's got, as expected, there's some rack difficulty. If you draw from G to GU, you're going to have some awkward racks sometimes. He does have an S, but
that was an extremely fast play.
It is.
I am shocked that just happened.
I don't know. I mean, I've played Dave a few times, but I guess I'm not sure what his normal tempo is. But that was pretty quick.
Fascinating. Not necessarily wrong. Git was suggested at Git and Gru was suggested for 16. Another thing he could have gone with there is a Guti down from the A on the right.
Yes.
Which would have been 12. So it would have been 10 points less. I'm almost positive I played a Guti there. Because a Crescent just signaled, well, it's hard. A Crescent signaled that Will didn't have an S as his last tile. And I would kind of, I think I would do a Guti there and kind of try to set myself up. Because it's hard to say what Dave accomplished with that move, right? I mean, he has IT. He scored 22, and it's kind of an even game. I don't like just resetting the rack like that. I think he should have been a little more constructive there and held on.
So it may have been a little too much focus on sort of the rack itself and not enough on some of the other considerations, maybe.
I don't know, but I think it's also defensible and marginal. So I feel that not to belabor, I think that Dave would have bingoed first after a Goody, and now I think that Will would bingo first. And I think that ends up making a pretty big impact on the outcome of the game.
It does seem like just restricts the board a little bit.
It does take an O. Not that helps with anything.
Yeah. I was wondering whether he took an I, but it looks like it doesn't.
I believe it comes from music theory. It's like tempo giusto.
Italian, yeah. I was thinking because it's Italian, it might, a lot of O words take an I in the plural, but I guess it's not in this case. All right, so Bill's got 3 E's, 2 N's. The chat pointed out if a V were available, he'd have Venenos, which would be but just actually blocked it. Wow.
That's sorry, I'm not supposed to laugh as a commentator. It's just amazing, this game, the things that happen. Yep. Will is going to watch.
Now we know why Dave played this.
Yeah, Dave, be careful with omniscience, man. You can only reveal that skill every couple of games.
Yeah. Yes. You got to save it for the key moments here. That worked out.
I once missed Venenos at the New Orleans Scrabble tournament. So it's I try not to tell too many personal anecdotes, but it's twice that Venenos was supposed to show up and failed to do so. So in terms of what Will should be doing here, he could just play Een underneath, making F-E-R-E and A-N. Is he going to do much better than that? He could play Eon and Justo, setting up his S, which would be kind of cool. I actually think that as Will, I would infer another S on Dave's rack from just. So maybe he'll be a little bit careful with setting up other S hooks.
Yeah, I can see where that's possible. Although, I mean, I guess because the other letters in just are awkward, it could be. I think it could be. Yeah, that's because sometimes people will sacrifice an S to clean up a serious rack problem. But on the other hand, I see what you're saying too, though, because he could have probably cleaned that up in a different way, in a different spot on the board, like with a Goody.
I think he's going to put down Eon and Justo. I like that. So this is that's a cool move. It's sort of
it is.
You can see that as like Ian would have been 17. So to me, that's like a 6-point investment into setting yourself up.
Yeah, and at this point,
Dave,
I mean, at
this holding.
Not sure of Justo.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11.
I could see that being worth a 5-point challenge, but it looks like he's decided to accept it.
I mean, if you're not sure, yeah.
Oh.
1, 2, 5, 6.
Interesting. I just assumed Dave was going to play Hutia for 27. But he has slapped down unright in a hurry. And it is going to hurt big time when Will makes his next play and his response.
Yeah, I should say so. Was he just trying? Was it a matter of just trying to plow through what looked like an awkward rack there, or?
Well, I think I'll say a few things from my experience of playing. He always tries to play against me, and so I think he sees that as a way of getting. I think he feels an incentive to get moves down quickly once he's decided on them. And I think he also sees it as foiling the Eon's hook. I think that's a big priority of the move. He probably thinks that Will did have EENS. So I think Dave is looking at unright and saying, well, Will probably doesn't have the letters to go on column A. And in fact, Will just drew them, which is a bit unlucky, but also not totally unlikely. So
yeah, there was definitely some risk involved. Although at least I guess it does open up the spot next to the U there up top. So, well, okay, yeah, Will has a lot of options here. Never mind it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, at first I was seeing ESKY down forming on rights, but
Pesky.
But Pesky forming YU. Yeah.
Yeah, Pesky, which is what I saw, is 66.
Yeah.
I think he's got to do that.
That's got to be right.
Sacrificing 19 points to keep PE and
yeah.
S.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
By the way, we've hit 100 viewers on the live stream at several points today, I am told, which is pretty unbelievable. So thank y'all for tuning in. Keep it up. We're only halfway through the tournament, so got twice as much hot Scrabble action for you guys. Still coming.
Maybe in the last few rounds we could get that to 150, even 200.
Oh, I like the way you think.
Yeah. Got to be ambitious with these things. So tell a friend.
Tell a friend. Tell an enemy. Tell Twitter. Make some TikTok vids in support of us. Everything you can think of.
201. Yep.
And he does choose Pesky. It was pretty interesting to see that he thought about Pesky for a sec, setting up the key. That would have been cool, but not the right thing.
Yeah, it sets up a 4-letter P word that doesn't quite seem worth it, but
it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool to be thinking of it, though.
Getting a little window into the plastic Will's brain is pretty fun.
Yeah, he's going to generate pretty much all the possibilities before he decides on one.
Yeah.
and does so very, very quickly.
All right. So Dave is down 27. So he's right in the thick of it here. I see this as a pretty important move. I made the assertion previously that I thought Will was now going to bingo first, but I think if Dave plays well enough here, yeah, Hob for 27. I think that's a strong play. You would want to get rid of the V if you could, I think. But failing that, this is pretty good.
I agree. If you're going to keep a V, those are the letters to keep it with. In general, would be bingo prone things, E's. So Will is
a
close to a bingo, but with some
one of those classic racks where you draw it and you say, "Oh, so close."
He'll need to groom that here.
I think these are really important racks in general. Finding a way to ideally not just fish for 8 points, but just eke out a little bit extra. Wow.
I was thinking of EAU beside unright there.
Wow. Did he just... That was very, very quick.
Well, Will is getting down to 9 minutes, so I'm wondering if he's starting to think he should play a little quicker.
And there are 5 E's and 2 blanks unseen to him. Mm-hmm. Also, the board is not very bingo friendly.
And
so Dave
take out. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say real quickly, Dave pushing the tempo, and maybe it's gonna work for him. Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah. I was gonna say that EAU does eliminate the hook on unright.
I'm not sure that should be a priority for.
Right, but with blanks out, I guess is what I was thinking of. Will doesn't have either an S or a blank, although now he does.
That was a very weird. I don't know if we'll get the chance to think about it more with the pace of the game. I would have done OU next to OH and UT, making OH and UT. But it certainly works because Will is thinking of bingo on this turn. And for a healthy score also.
Yeah. So
actually, Will is spending too much time on this. He should just drop conduit and get on with his life, I think. I guess I was a bit skeptical about Dave's strategy of moving fast when possible, but it seems to be paying some dividends here.
Yeah, I wonder what other, let's see, besides conduit, what other things Will might be considering here. And it looks like he's lined it up and made the decision now.
77
Okay, so that'll put him ahead by, let's see, 60 or so?
61, it looks like.
So Dave's picked up the Z or Z or however you like to refer to it. And so something like Miz scores a quick 34, but we may be able to do better than that.
So let's see. So we've got 16 letters unseen to Dave, including the second blank. The vowel ratio is 11 vowels, 11 consonants in it. Blank unseen. And he's down 61. And it must be said that this board is not super friendly for bingos right now. Oh, well,
oh, I see. Yeah, I see it.
I think that'll help Dave's cause.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I was looking up there at first, but it hadn't made it over to Biz there.
69 zit. Too busy gazing into the depths of the unseen tile pool to notice the obvious.
Yeah, not much debate there.
Well, also not a lot of debate on this move by Will. It's a bit of a crusher. 60 points, turns over 6 tiles. He has a 75% chance of pulling that blank. That hurts. But Dave plays immediately and empties the bag, if I'm not mistaken. Man, this is some theater right here, folks.
Let's see, 24, 28. Wow.
He did not draw the blank. Dave just drew the blank. Or he's about to. Is he going to draw Q blank?
It looks that way. Okay, it gets interesting now. Okay, Will's got.
Woo!
Yeah. So Dave's got 13 minutes. Will's just over 6. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the bag is. Am I misreading this? Is the?
Looks like there's 4 in the bag. Or.
Okay, I'm not sure how I perplexed
There's 4 in the bag. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I think Will has plenty of time to figure this out, so I'm not sure that Dave's stratagem of getting Will in time trouble is going to pay off. But
I think the bigger problem though is, Will has a bunch of 1-point tiles or low point tiles that don't bingo right away. So and Dave's got the Q, the case S, and the blank. So it may be. We may see a situation where Will needs to bingo to win.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so the bag has a D, E, T, and a Y. And D, E, T. Unseen to Will here. Yeah, this is going to take every bit of mastery and time that Will has. Because this is not an easy decision by any stretch of the imagination.
Especially given all the things that aren't on his rack that he has to consider are probably on Dave's. Or could be in the bag. He could get them. So there's a wide range of outcomes here that you have to think about.
Right. There's sort of 4 completely different paths, right? One where... one where he draws the blank and the Q, also just the Q, also just the blank, and then if he draws neither of them. What a great question. Someone in the chat asked, what the heck can Will even do? I think that he needs to decide if there's a way he can win without bingoing first. And I don't think so. But if he decides that, then the next step is figuring out, well, how does he maximize his chances of being?
Yeah, I guess the first thing would be, thinking about unduplicating the A, maybe playing off the O. I see suggestions of ODA or a do somewhere, which would leave 1 in the bag. Keep AENT. That.
Right, he could just play off AO, ideally. Also, that could... But playing off more tiles beneficial because it gives him more shots at the blank if it's still out there.
Yeah, I would probably be leaning toward expecting a 3-tile play here.
And then something else to do from Will's perspective is to imagine, given the unseen, what kind of stuff is Dave going to play? Like what kind of cue plays are threatened? I mean, if Dave has a bingo on hooking eons, there's not much Will can do. But what about cue plays? It's pre-mix with a blank. I don't think there's. I don't think Dave can avail himself of that. But
it doesn't seem like it. I mean, and another possible rack from Will's perspective that Dave could have would be something that bingo's all over the place except for the cue, so he would need a turn to get rid of it. I mean, which you can do with QI, but ideally, would that almost be an argument for? I don't want to say necessarily emptying the bag so Dave can't, fish for a bingo at all. But
no, absolutely, I see your point for sure. There's that could very well be what happens if Will plays Oda, which he has lined up, and Dave just fishes the cue.
Yeah, he's going to very likely to pick something.
I think he would win unless Will bingos, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Oda is going to come down. I think will feel that he could have come up with a better solution to that rack with more time, but he's left himself. Yeah, he has to give himself a shot for the end game if it turns into a non-bingo kind of affair.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I think he's going to be hard pressed for time here.
I'm wondering some go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, like, if Dave does fish off that cue, I think the D is in the bag, and I think it's going to look pretty bad for Will. Sorry, please.
Yeah, that should. Yeah, I think that would probably seal it. Some people in the chat were wondering about the placement of Oda.
What was the notion? Maybe Oda and block the S hook on Eon? Is that an option?
Let's see. I'm trying to think what was suggested here, but let's see. You play Adu, you play. I mean, I guess Oda has a little bit of the disadvantage of blocking bingos from the V, but that's pretty minor.
Yeah, possibly blocking the Eon's hook would have helped a lot.
Yeah.
But it is a point sacrifice, and if he thinks it's going to go down to an end game, that is 5 points less that he gets to enter the end of the game with.
Right. And he has, low point tiles unless he picks the Y. The Y is the only other thing other than the Q that he could pick. So that could be an issue as well.
So our viewers are pointing out that
Vendetta.
Right. Our viewers are pointing out that Dave needs to block a 10D here in case the Y is in the bag. And I guess that's one reason why he wouldn't just play QI. I think QI should bingo with any should lead to bingos on the bottom of the board with any one tile draw. But maybe Dave has the potential for 100% win if he can block a 10D, and maybe he'll cash the blank now to do that.
So yeah, what does best play with the blank be in this position here?
I'm hearing, I hear rumors of just quail or quale. It's definitely pronounced quale. It's a Latin word. Quale to the E, leaving ELS. And then that's quite cute because with any tile draw, you can either hook screw or eons. And so it guarantees an unblockable out, and it takes out a 10D in the process. That's a very elegant solution. The one thing to worry about there would be if Will has some kind of Will is up 14 points, and
yeah, if he can score with the Y, I guess he may be able to get enough.
Yeah, let's see. So Quale is 26, so we put him up 12, and then his outplay would be about 15. And well, I guess Will would need a serious scoring play, which I'm not sure I see evidence of. And these games have been a treat. Just all super competitive. And he's going to put down Quale. Very nice.
All right.
Points to Gryffindor, or whatever chat viewer suggested that option there.
So 26. That puts Dave up by 12.
It looks like I have a philosophy major correcting me on my pronunciation. Well, qualia is the Latin. So
Will.
Yeah, and I don't think Will can do much here other than gracefully concede the loss. This one's gonna sting. Yenta, I guess, went down before Quale went down. Ian is 28, but it's also going to set up some bigger outs.
Yeah, I'm not sure that would do it.
I wonder how closely Dave calculated this. Great question from from one of our viewers. What was wrong with Squall? It's hard to see when the blank is a U. He didn't have that one available. There wasn't a D to play to. Right, he would have needed a U or 3. So
You have 396 to 3.
Will lay down any pretty fast there. Is that really?
He's got 4 seconds left on his clock, so.
Well, that'll do it. I was going to say, is that really better than Yet? But
yeah, I was looking for Yet too. But.
Gotta give Dave credit because he stuck with a strategy to try to get up on the clock, and I think it actually substantially impacted the outcome of this game. So credit to him. There's a reason the man's in first place in the tournament. And that's
that was very nicely managed. All right, so Dave ekes out another close one. I understand that's the third pretty close competitive game on the stream so far this morning. This is my first game on, so we've had some good ones.
Yeah, they've been pretty much all down to the wire. Definitely victor in doubt until near the end. So yeah, Will shaking his head there. I would love to pull that man into a booth and ask him about the Oda move.
Yeah,
we don't have such a booth because we're all in.
It's just a conceptual booth.
Exactly. Step into my office.
Yeah. Oh, that was a tough one, though.
Yeah, okay, I feel for Will. That was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down at the end of the day to whether Oda at the bottom was the move as opposed to Oda up top. And unfortunately, we lack the. We really need better analysis tools to evaluate these things. But thankfully, our resident mad scientist Cesar del Solar is working on a successor to Quackle that should be able to handle such things. So, also, the owner and proprietor of Aerolith.org. For your Scrabble study needs, Aerolith is, I know, where Will has spent a vast amount of time. And so if any of you guys are new to the world of Scrabble and want to improve, aerolith.org. AEROLITH.
That's where we do
unpaid.
this.
Yeah, unpaid. Cesar did not pay me, although he should consider it.
Yeah, I wouldn't turn it down. But yeah, it's I think the percentage of high-rated players that spend a considerable time on Aerolith is very high.
Yeah, mostly just thank you to Cesar for
yes, agreed.
The labor of love that went into that.
Okay, so Dave has advanced to 9-2 and presumably still in first place, I believe. Will is at
Unless someone managed to win 2 games, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so do we know who's next? Let's see.
I think it might be a Dave mirror match.
It'd be the Battle of the Daves. So everybody stay tuned. We'll have Dave Koenig and Dave Wiegand for round 12. Thank you for tuning in, and we will be back shortly.
Catch y'all on the flip side.